All right. After our little Phillies debacle, you'll hear about that You'll hear about that soon. Come back here and enjoy that the Eagles actually got back to winning. They beat the 2-win Raiders 31-0. It's their first shutout since 2018. I mean, it's against the Raiders. I mean, you kind of knew that a blowout was imminent, but
I mean, hey, I don't know if
I'm glad to see them win again. Yeah, shutout was nice. 75 total yards of offense for the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone was expecting that the Raiders were going to look that bad, but was it really the fact that the Raiders are that bad, or is the Eagles defense really just that good?
It's a combination of both. When you got Kenny Pickett starting at the quarterback for the Raiders, there's definitely a little bit of a
drop off.
Like acting like Geno Smith is, anything of superstar caliber.
I mean, at least he's a starting caliber quarterback.
He's for a 2-win team.
Kenny Pickett is a backup quarterback.
Kenny Pickett is a backup quarterback, but hey, he's got a ring though, so
he does have a ring, even though he didn't really do anything to.
But yeah, how about
earn it?
How about this? Tomorrow night, the Eagles can potentially win the division if they beat the Commanders at home against Marcus Mariota.
Yeah,
because Vikings did the easy work and were able to upset the Cowboys in Dallas.
Yeah, which it's fantastic that even if they were to win, I think even if they win out the rest of their games, the best they could get is what, the 7 seed at this point?
For the Cowboys?
Yeah, because they would still have to jump Detroit. And they would still have to jump.
Even if the Cowboys lose, Eagles can still clinch the division.
Yeah,
and the Cowboys will be playing on Sunday against and Christmas against. I think Washington is on Christmas, but they're going to be playing on Sunday and Thursday. So if the Eagles don't win Saturday, they got 2 chances to win. But yeah, the Vikings getting cooked by J.J. McCarthy was not on my bucket list, but.
Was not. I did not see.
Bingo card?
No, I did not see the Commanders getting blown out of the water by J.J. McCarthy a week after he looked horrible. Oh wait, no, that was his first game since returning because it was the other guy.
I think he
right?
played. He played
Bowser, right?
He played against Washington and played good against them. And then that was his second game coming back.
So. I mean, I don't really think anyone was expecting J.J. McCarthy to light it up like he did. But if that's how bad their defense looked against J.J. McCarthy, I can only imagine how this defense is going to look against, in theory, one of the most talented offenses in the National Football League with the amount of guys that the Eagles have on the offensive side of the ball. Are they going to win 31-0
probably
again?
Not.
Probably not.
But hey, even if it's a close win, it's still a win, and they should be happy if they do win the NFC East. They break that 20-year curse.
Like almost what 20?
Yeah, since the 04 Eagles. I was coming down here on the radio, and they did say since the 04 Eagles.
Yeah. So
it hasn't been a back-to-back division winner since.
About to be 22 years once we get to 2026.
So hoping we can get that division locked up on Saturday. And one thing we're going to have to do on Saturday is we're going to have to be playing a little bit like we played during the Raiders. I know it's not what everyone's wanting to see, but it clearly worked out for us against Las Vegas.
They ran the ball a lot.
They did, and I knew that was going to happen because I knew Hurts wasn't going to be slinging the ball out there like a frisbee. It was cold. It was windy. He just threw 4 picks in a freaking dome. Are you serious? The Raiders secondary isn't good, but I knew they were still going to run the ball, and they were very efficient running the ball.
Yeah, it's very effective running the ball.
Saquon had a really good game. Tank Bigsby got opportunities.
Yeah, which we've been asking for freaking weeks.
Yep, and he's finally getting back into the game. You got Hurts doing some design runs, which we haven't seen that a lot from Jalen all season.
Exactly, that's what we've been talking.
We've been talking about that too. It's like the Eagles have been listening to the concerns.
Yeah, they have
running the design runs, and Dallas Goedert getting back into this offense too. He has 2 touchdowns. Would have been 3.
Mm-hmm. And even though they didn't win the game against the Chargers game, that Chargers game felt like it was different in the way that the offense was able to actually move the ball down the field. And I'm willing to sit here and say that that's now 2 games in a row that they've actually been able to move the ball down the field.
They were moving the ball down the field in both games. It's just Hurts was throwing interceptions left and right.
Exactly, which you're definitely not going to win if the quarterback is doing that. But there is that positive of, all right, they were able to get 281 yards of offense against the Chargers in a game that they didn't win, and then they just got 300
and something yards against
the Raiders.
The Raiders, who have 2 wins.
Right. But it's a positive trend in the fact that the offense previously in those games before the Chargers had been struggling to even get to 200 total yards. So the fact that they were able to go for 280 in that game and then 350 something in this game does have me feeling a little bit better about the offense heading into the playoffs, even though it's not like they put up that 350 against
they're not putting
the Packers.
They're not putting up 350 against the Packers or the Seahawks or whoever they face in the postseason. If they make it, it's going to be.
That was a great game last night.
That was, yeah.
I don't know if you watched it, but I was about to turn it off when it was 30-14. I was like, dude, there's no shot that the Seahawks have to come back and win this game. And then Shaheed returns the punt for a touchdown, and I was like, oh, maybe not. Maybe I should keep this on.
Shaheed's been a really good special teams player for them this year. He's got a kickoff return and a couple punt return touchdowns for them.
He's made a couple of really big plays for them since being traded over there. And it would be nice if, Howie Roseman would allow Tank Bigsby to do the same thing. Mid-season trade. He's had success whenever you get the ball in his hands. Luckily, they actually did give him the ball for him to do some stuff with.
They did, yeah.
With the Raiders. And it seems like him getting the ball also helps Saquon Barkley. So I hope that they don't just go back to, all right, 22 carries for Saquon, and then here's your 1 carry, Tank, and then go sit down.
Yeah, we can't be doing that. I mean, if we can win games. I mean, all I care about now is if we win the games and playing conservatively. If we play and we get a 13-7 win, it's a 13-7 win. It's
still a win.
It's still a win, man. It's all that matters. Yep.
And there is a certain. Obviously, we all want to see a certain type of, I guess, style points or flair when it comes to the Eagles. Just to really affirm the fact of how dominant that they are and how dominant that they can be. But it's not like every single game needs to be this game where they run all over the opponent or they blow everybody out, because that's not what happened last year when they went to the Super Bowl and actually won it. They won a lot of close games last year, especially towards the end of the year and into the playoffs. So as much as everyone wants to sit here and be like, oh, well, the Commanders are a horrible team, they should be beating this team, 28-0 or scoring 4 touchdowns or whatever the case may be. Just be happy with the win, because there was a point 2 weeks ago against the Bears where this team was playing so bad we weren't sure if they were going to win another game all season.
Yeah, that was the breaking point, and then the breaking point went even more downwards after that game against the Chargers. But it's starting to, creep up a little bit. I mean, it's a Las Vegas Raiders team that plays like a CFL team, but they're still an NFL team.
They still do have good players. It's not like it's
they still have
a whole bunch of scrubs.
They do have good players. Yeah, Max Crosby is still good.
Yeah. They still got the young dude, Genji, who's good.
Ashton Genji, who's going to be really good in the future.
Now, they might not really have anyone else other than those two, but at least they got 2 guys that are...
Yeah.
But this game against the Commanders, I think, will be more of a measuring stick game than the Raiders, just for the fact that I do think the Commanders have a better roster altogether. And they definitely have a better defense than I feel like the Raiders
They have
do.
they have a better defense than the Raiders. That's kind of, out of the question already.
So it'll be nice, or it'll not nice, but I'm interested to see how this offense looks again this week, if they add in any other wrinkles, or if it is kind of the same as it was last
They'll
week.
They'll probably
and they
play
get
the same as the last week against the Raiders, or where they can run the ball, where they can run the ball, get down to Washington territory, get more runs, and then use Goddard.
Yep.
And then they can maybe go for a deep shot with Brown or Devontae, and look at that, you're on the score sheet.
And I just want to say, Dallas Goedert now has 9 touchdowns on the year, still leads the team.
Dallas Goedert, another fantastic game. This is back-to-back games where he's played really good.
Yeah, and they're actually starting to use the middle of the field, it looks like, because Goddard...
If they do that versus Washington, they're going to win the game.
If they're able to do that against anyone, I have confidence that they'll be able to win. But it's hard to sit there and say that you've got confidence in your team winning against an opponent when they're afraid to go over the middle of the field.
Yeah, because in the previous games, they had to target A.J. Brown 45 times, and in the game against the Raiders, they only targeted him 3 times.
And notice, they won the game.
They won the game, yep. And he actually contributed. He had 2 catches, and one of them was for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Are you still going to drop him in fantasy now?
I'm sure he's still going to sit there and have something to say about the fact that it wasn't...
Why didn't I get 10 targets? Why didn't I get this much targets?
The fact it wasn't 7 catches and a touchdown. It was only 2 catches.
Why did I only get 7 catches?
But one thing I do want to highlight is Goddard is now, and he's in the final year of his contract. Has he played well enough to the point where he might get priced out?
He might.
Re-signing here?
But he's played exceptionally well and is obviously one of the Eagles' best receivers.
This might be potentially one of his best seasons so far
in his career.
Season,
yeah.
And he's, 32?
So the Eagles are going to have to try to get... I mean, if I'm Howie Roseman, I think my first priority is re-signing Dallas Goedert, figuring out what Dallas Goedert is commanding from his agency and try to figure out how much he's going to want. And then that would make an offer, wait for other teams, and if if teams are offering more out of... if they're offering way more than what the Eagles want, then they're going to ship him off and just look in the draft.
Yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because the Eagles have a decision to make on Nakobe Dean this year and Jordan Davis. Whether or not they're going to pay them at the end of this season or let them walk. Because Davis is on his 5th-year option. And I'm pretty sure Dean is on the last year of his deal as well.
I thought they extended Jordan Davis.
I think all they did was give him the 5th-year option. I don't think that they extended him. They just picked up his option for his 5th year.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So I think that means that...
All right, well, Nakobe Dean's been playing elite.
Yeah. And
Nakobe Dean's the reason why Jahad Campbell is on the freaking practice, and not the practice squad, but the special teams, because the linebacker position is so good with him and Phillips and Bond. There's no spot for him to go.
So who do you let go of? Because you're not going to be able to probably keep all of them.
No, you're not going to be able to keep all. This is like the same ordeal they had last year with Mekhi Becton and Josh Sweat and Zach Bond. They kept Zach Bond.
You're not going to be able to keep,
Honestly, if I'm being realistic, Nakobe Dean. Because they have Jahad Campbell. They have Zach Bond.
Mm-hmm.
They have that linebacker depth. Jordan Davis is going to be really good up front with Jalen Carter because who else you got? Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham is gone after this season.
You still got Ojomo.
You got Ojomo. And
Byron Young
you got Byron Young. But imagine that 4 front defensive line there with the linebacker depth you already have. And then you have Dallas Goedert, who is probably going to get priced out, and you're going to have to go find a tight end. So
then what do you do with Campbell?
He's going to become the starting linebacker.
Even if you keep Dean?
No, Dean's going to go, and you're going to keep Campbell as a starting linebacker. The guy you're going to have to re-sign is Jordan Davis.
Yeah, because I don't think they're definitely not going to be able to re-sign Jalen Phillips, Jordan Davis, Dallas Goedert, and Nakobe Dean. You got to think at least 2 of those guys are leaving, if not 3, most likely. And I haven't taken a look at like who the tight ends are or any of these positions yet for college as to who's like the big names coming out. But with Grant Calcaterra, I don't think that he's good enough to be the starting.
No, they'll
tight
find
end.
a tight end. They're not going to rely on Grant Calcaterra to be the tight end one.
Do you think they bring him back at all?
No.
No.
Only as a blocker.
Because he's so good at that, right?
Yeah, he's so good at blocking.
Oh, he's awful at blocking.
But no, they're going to find a tight end in the draft, whether that's a receiving tight end or, he's got like a 5-tool where he can block and receive.
Mm-hmm. I'm just a little surprised that they didn't draft a tight end last year.
I guess maybe they were confident in, we can keep Dallas Goedert.
Well, I know that apparently they really, really liked Harold Fannin coming out of the draft last year. But I guess Cleveland had an earlier pick in the 3rd round, so they picked him, before the Eagles had the chance to. But I'm surprised they didn't pivot and go to someone else, because if you're not able to get a capable replacement, then you're losing 10 touchdowns.
And Howie Roseman works his magic. He can definitely get 2nd-round pick that he could use on a tight end, or he could find someone from another team that wants to, obtain another draft pick. So I could definitely see a trade coming too if they don't re-sign Dallas Goedert. I could definitely see a trade coming.
Then here's the other thing I wanted to ask you: if they win against the Commanders this week, they clinch up the division, basically solidified into the 3 seed, right? Do you play your starters week 17 and 18?
You do. You don't play in week 18, but you play in week 17.
You play in week 17? Because
this is what I heard from John Clark. Because since the Seahawks won, that the Eagles could catch the Bears for the 2 seed.
Really?
So the 2 seed, the Bears had to face the Packers, the 49ers, and the Lions.
They would have to lose at least 2 of those games,
they would have
right?
2 of those games. And it's not like any of those 3 teams are going to be a walk in the park for the Chicago Bears.
That does mean that the Eagles would have to theoretically, though, beat the Bills.
The Eagles would have to beat the Bills. If the Eagles don't beat the Bills,
then there's no shot.
There's no shot. If they're locked into the 3 seed, and if the 1 seed's secured, they're going to rest their starters against Washington. It's the best thing to do. I'm thinking, too, maybe they might give, Lane Johnson and Jalen Carter a couple of snaps, but right now, because they're not playing against Washington, I'd rather them just rest until January.
And when is the Buffalo game? Is it Sunday? Is it Saturday?
It's the 27th, a Sunday.
Okay, it's Sunday. Is it a night game? Day game?
It's at 4:25.
Okay. So is there a possibility that the Eagles will know before that game even starts if they have a shot?
There could be.
Because the Bears would have to lose this week and next week.
Yeah, the Bears would have to lose their games, yep.
If the Bears win this week, then it doesn't matter, essentially, right?
It all depends, I think, because the Bears could still win, and then I think they could lose 2, the next 2, and then the Eagles could, win their next 2, or win their next 3, or whatever.
Because that was just something that I was hearing people talking about, like, oh, well, if they win and they lock up the 3 seed, should they just rest people? This way no one gets hurt for the playoffs, or should they, continue to play their starters for at least the first half of the game against the Bills and then see what happens from there? I just wanted to get your take on it because
it all depends upon the seeding now, because with the 2 seed being open for the Eagles, they're still going to be competing for that, because the 2 seed's going to play the 7, and the 7 seed is most likely going to be an opponent from the NFC South. Oh, no, not the NFC South.
The West.
The West, yeah. So, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because you're
probably going to end up playing, if you're in that spot, you're going to end up playing
the Seahawks, Rams, or 49ers.
Right. Where if you're in the 3 seed, you still might end up playing one of those teams. But there's also the potential that you could end up playing the Packers. There's also the potential you can end up...
Yeah, the Packers, the Lions. I forgot that the NFC South, whoever wins that crappy-ass division is going to be slotted into the 4 seed.
Yeah, whoever wins that division is going to end up having a home game, even though...
Yep, even though they're going to be, 8 and 9, and they're 13 and 14, steamrolling in there.
Yeah. And with the Seahawks winning last night was huge. Because if the Rams won, they basically clinched the 1 seed, essentially. But now that the Seahawks have won, because the Seahawks don't necessarily have the easiest schedule going forward, I think they do have Carolina next week. So that should be a win.
Do they have to play the 49ers again?
Yep.
Okay. So
last week of the season.
Yeah, so that's going to be the challenging game, because who knows if the 49ers could still be in the running for that 1 seed.
49ers could win these next 2 games, and if they do, then they would have to play all their starters, both teams, week 18, for whoever gets the 1 seed. Now, whoever loses that game is going to be severely disadvantaged going into whatever road matchup that they end up going into in the wild card round. But I would be fine if the Eagles were to play the starters for a half against Buffalo, see how it's going.
Because that's a 4 o'clock game.
Right.
The 1 o'clock games, if they're over, and the results, they might just...
Exactly.
All right, let's go. We're going to just not play your guys anymore.
Yeah.
See how you guys do.
Where, if Chicago's able to win this week and they're able to win next week, and it takes the 2 seed out of the equation, do you end up taking all your starters out at halftime and you just let everyone rest up until first round of the playoffs, especially because you've got some guys that are banged up.
Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens, and pretty much the
Lane
entire
Johnson.
offense. Pretty much the entire offensive line is banged up.
Or are you of the thinking that you want this offense to get as much reps as it possibly can so they don't get rusty heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, that's a good thing too. Yeah, I feel like they might honestly just keep the offense out for the entire Bills game. The defense most likely too, because obviously you don't want to give them much reps either. Even if they lose, and it's going to have no effect if they're locked into the 3 seed, because they'll just play their second team next week.
One thing I will say about the defense is I believe the defense has played an absurd amount of snaps as compared to the rest of the defenses in the league. Think after that Lions game, or no, not after the Lions game, after the Cowboys game. I think when I looked it up, it said that the Eagles defense played 86 more snaps than the second closest defense to them, which I'm sure that disparity has gotten larger at this point. And I just wonder if that factors in at all to the fact of, a lot of these guys are in elevated roles from what they were last year, so they're already playing more snaps than they were last year, and this whole defense as a whole is playing a lot more snaps than any other defense in the league. Do they maybe try to be more erring on the side of caution for that fact? For the fact that they've played almost 100 more snaps than any other defense in the league.
That's the thing, I don't know. I could definitely see the defense resting then.
If you get to halftime, there's not really a shot anyway.
If you just want the offense to not be rusty, then that's fine. The defense will probably not be that. Defense will probably not get that rusty.
Right. Defense will travel.
Unlike
defense
the
will
offense.
play in cold weather.
The defense is not getting banged up like the Eagles, like the offense is.
Right. So I just wonder if that means that they sit potentially the defense for a half in one game while the offense stays out. or if maybe by the time that game against the Bills comes around, if the Bears win this week and they've already won next week. What time do they play next week, the Bears?
So the Bears play at 8 o'clock this Saturday against the Packers, that's gonna be the game after the Eagles, and then the game on San Francisco. Sunday Night Football.
So they wouldn't know up until after anyway.
Yep.
Regardless.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if that's the case, then I feel like you're going to see all the starters play against Buffalo.
Yeah, the starters are going to play versus Buffalo now. Yep.
And then probably no one will play in Week 18. Tanner McKee will throw for 350 yards.
Everyone will be
5 touchdowns.
Everyone will be jubilant, like, start McKee! Start McKee! Start him now!
And then hopefully...
And then put some, like, Matt Flynn type performance.
Yeah.
Gets himself a contract and shits the bed.
I was going to say, and then hopefully Howie's able to move him for a second-round pick next year so that we can get a tight end.
Good thinking, though. I like that.
But one guy that I feel like we got to highlight, at least on the defense, was Cooper DeJean. Because I
thought you were going to say Brandon Graham.
Well, yeah, Brandon Graham did have a great game
Brandon Graham had a great game sacking Kenny Pickett twice.
Especially being defensive tackle, where that is not the position that he's normally
He's played
playing.
a really good defensive tackle since the absence of Jalen Carter.
And I don't think you see Carter the entire game this week.
He's ruled out.
Yeah. I wonder how much he does play next week. I wonder if they'll have him playing his same amount of 85 to 88% of the snaps next week, or if they'll be slow with him, getting him back up to speed. Maybe instead of at 80,
they're going to be
something, it'll be
they're going to be
70%.
slow because they want to get him at 100% for the playoffs.
Especially because it was both shoulders.
Yep.
It wasn't like it was just one.
It's not like it's just one shoulder; it's both shoulders.
It was both shoulders.
That's a concern.
Yeah, and I would rather have them. Honestly, I would rather just have them wait, have him not even play in the Bills game, and just let him play a series or maybe 2 in that Week 18 game, just to get a couple snaps under his belt, get back into the rhythm of things. Because I have no idea what the weather's going to be like up in Buffalo.
Probably going to be cold and snowy and
probably going to be shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to be really shitty. So I have no idea what the field conditions are going to be like either. And if that's the case, I would rather just be like, all right, Jalen, we don't need you overcompensating for something and getting hurt again. Sit out this week. We'll play you for 2 or 3 series against the Commanders next week, and that'll be your season. I would be happy with that. And one thing as well that I want to highlight is probably getting Brandon Graham to take less snaps these next 2 weeks as well to save his energy for the playoffs, because he is 37. Do you really want your 37-year-old probably playing in games that he doesn't really have to in order to potentially get hurt heading into the playoffs? I'd rather just see them not even play him at all against the Bills. Just let him rest these last 2 weeks. It's not like he had a full season to prepare for this or anything like that. So it would be nice to see him take some less snaps, get really geared up for the playoffs, and then he'll be able to be 100% fully healthy.
Yeah, everyone will be
Jalen Carter.
Everyone will be 100%.
Right.
What do you want to say about Cooper DeJean?
So Cooper DeJean was absolutely fantastic. He had 4 pass deflections, I want to say, in this game against the Raiders.
The secondary was good. Even Jackson, too.
Yeah, even Adoree Jackson. And that's something that we've been saying for the past couple of weeks. That Adoree Jackson's been playing pretty well.
Really good since the concussion.
So the fact that, I don't know if that is more of a product of the fact that the pass rush has been better, so Adoree Jackson hasn't been needed to, cover his man as long, or if Adoree Jackson is covering and sticking his man better, which is allowing the pass rush to actually get home. So I'm not entirely sure which way that really goes, but I do think that Adoree Jackson, regardless of what the front 7 have done, has definitely stepped up his play. And Cooper DeJean, after getting kind of shredded those 2 weeks in a row, has been fantastic the past 2 games. He was fantastic against the Chargers. Barely heard any of Ladd McConkey's name.
Yeah, Ladd McConkey was quiet.
Yeah, you barely heard him.
Besides that
all.
one personal foul, which Tyler Lockett completely flopped.
Yeah.
Biggest flop of the century.
Veteran move.
Yeah. He knew Cooper DeJean was young, and he did that on purpose.
Yeah. And Cooper DeJean has been extremely reliable for them ever since that he got drafted. And if this defense has to change again next year by the fact that Adoree Jackson's probably not coming back.
No.
Right? I don't really know if they have shored up the CB2 behind Adoree Jackson. I don't really think they have.
Yeah, we're not going to be dealing with Keely Ringo again.
Right.
Oh, no.
I have no idea what their plan is with Bennett. We've barely seen him at all. You got no idea what the plan is with McWilliams. Haven't really seen him at all. So I wonder if Adoree Jackson plays well enough. Do they extend him?
I don't know.
To keep him here next year.
This
way they don't have to move Cooper off the slot.
Probably not.
Because he is, 28? Jackson? I want to say? I don't think he's 30 yet, right?
Yeah, he's somewhere in that age range, but I don't think they extend him. Because they might just find someone in the draft again. Because you told me you got Cooper DeJean in the second round. They can find another second-round cornerback.
Only reason they got him in the second round, though, is because of the injury.
Yep. But look how that turned out.
Same with Jahad Campbell. The only reason they got him as late as they did was because of the injury. So, unless you want to roll the dice on taking another guy that's hurt going into the draft.
Well, clearly it's worked out 2 times in a row for the Eagles. Why not third time's a charm?
It's just how long do you... How many times do you expect it to continue to work out?
Exactly, yeah.
So... that was just another thing I wanted to flow by you, because I do think he has played well enough to maybe earn himself another 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year at best.
Yeah,
he's not getting like mega millions.
No, it's not going to be like Bradbury, where they got him to the end of the contract and they signed him for 2 years.
No,
and that second year he was putrid, god awful.
Yeah, it'll be 1 year.
Yeah, it'll be definitely 1 year. I think the Eagles learned from the mistake last time. And
it's not the Phillies where they'll sign a JT to 2 years after having a 8,000 year regression, but
so that was just another thing that I wanted to get your opinion on. And then lastly, are the Raiders really just that bad of a team? Like, is the organization really
they're
just
an NFL team
that bad?
So this was a TikTok I saw. It was, the show Get Up on ESPN.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys beat the Raiders, and everyone was like, what an offensive showing from the Cowboys.
Right.
Look how well Dak Prescott threw the football. They deserve that win. And then once they came and they were talking about it with the Eagles, they were like, are the Raiders even a football team? They just showed up just for fun. They're still an NFL team. I don't care how good they are. I don't care if they are like college level. They're still an NFL team, and they would still crush a college team.
Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
They would demolish any type of college team.
They would crush a college team 67-0.
But the only reason I ask is just because, do you expect to see that same type of performance against the Commanders, or do you think it's going to be a little bit more difficult?
It's going to be a little different.
I think it's going to be a lot more difficult.
It's going to be different because the Raiders' defense is substantially worse than the Commanders' defense.
Plus, I feel like the Commanders just got embarrassed by J.J. McCarthy, so they're going to want to, even though it's not like this game really means anything.
They ended up just winning they just won against the Giants. Not like the Giants is a tough opponent, but that was a close game they won, so.
And then, last thing. We haven't mentioned Patullo at all.
Yeah, because Patullo redeems himself after one game.
How do you think Patullo and the play calling was in that game against the Raiders?
It was fine. It was, it was what we asked for.
Yeah. He definitely got stuff that we asked for.
Yeah, hopefully it can continue.
I saw a lot of Jalen Hurts lining up under center, which I really, really liked.
The play calling was good, but he hasn't redeemed himself for the shenanigans that he's caused for the rest of the season.
No.
It's too late in the season.
But has it restored a little bit of faith in maybe that 3%. He's not like the worst offensive coordinator in the world and he can actually do the job?
At 3%.
Okay.
I still want him to get into the The skybox.
Honestly, I feel like it would really help him.
I'm telling you, it would help him.
Seeing everything from that perspective, you know? Especially because...
But if Hurts comes out on Saturday throwing 40 passes again, then...
I think we know as a fan base, as a coaching staff, as everything, that you're not going to win with Jalen throwing the ball 40 times. That's just not the recipe for Jalen Hurts to win football games. The recipe for Jalen Hurts to win
is to use his legs and rely on the other people that he has. Rely on his weapons.
And to extend plays by escaping the pocket, looking downfield, and, finding Devontae Smith on a
crossing route.
Right, or Dallas Goedert right by the sideline.
Or a screen, or Saquon Barkley on a check down.
Now, one thing that I definitely noticed Jalen Hurts did a lot more in this Raiders game than he did in the previous games where he really wasn't playing well was he was much more willing to throw to his check down, which he was not willing to do, it seemed like, in the Chargers game.
Yeah.
In the Chargers game, he was forcing everything.
It's that Brown propaganda where he's still in that little, debacle where AJ still wants these targets and, he's going to have a temper tantrum like a child if he doesn't get his correct amount of targets, like he's got a parlay or something.
And I just find it hilarious that when 3 games that he had 7 catches or more, they lost all 3 of them.
They lost all 3 of the games he played good in, and then once they actually, focused on what they've been doing all season, this Goddard and the Barkley and the Smith, they've been winning.
And I don't think that is by coincidence at all. Do you think A.J. Brown is here next year?
It depends. I mean, it'll probably happen on draft night, but if they can get something good out of him, then he's gone.
Yeah, I think that, honestly, I think they trade him, they draft some wide receiver as a replacement, and try to save a little bit of money so that they can actually re-sign some of the guys maybe instead of just only re-signing Jordan Davis. Now maybe you can re-sign Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean. Or you can re-sign Jordan Davis.
Yep, because there's been a lot of rumors of him going to the Patriots, but it's going to come in the offseason.
Yeah, so. It's not going to happen anytime soon in the offseason.
It'll happen in the draft.
Yeah, or right around the draft.
Yep.
If not draft night.
That's my thing with Brown. I mean, he's obviously really good with this offense, but Devontae Smith has shown he can be a wide receiver 1.
Yeah, and the Eagles don't throw the ball enough to have 2 wide receiver 1s on the team.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing the style of Joe Burrow and you're throwing the ball 40 times, then it makes sense to have 2 wide receivers of that caliber.
That's why that's why Justin Jefferson might go to Cincinnati.
Right. But
if you're only throwing to Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert or whoever.
Just look at that game. If you're only throwing the ball 15 times.
Compared to 40, that's a
crazy
reduction.
Right. You don't need to have 2 wide receivers for, only 15 plays of your playbook where 60% of your offensive salary cap is tied up in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts, where you could easily
shed off all that money with A.J. Brown and now have Devontae Smith and Jahan Dotson being paid nothing.
Right, and be able to maybe reallocate some resources. Maybe you are able to sign Jalen Carter to a contract extension early instead of waiting for him to get to the end of his contract and him costing a fortune, So that's one thing that I do think you got to keep your eye out when we get towards
the offseason.
The offseason and the draft time is what do they really plan to do with A.J. Brown?
That's going to be the focal point of the offseason.
Yeah.
So.
But
that's all I wanted to say about the Eagles. Let's hope they win next week. And, see you next week.